Hey everybody, Brian here. In this video I want to show you this car here. Oh my god, it's super windy. Yeah, once again in Ireland it is so windy I can't take a video on what looks like a perfectly normal day. So this car is a really unusual one. I haven't had one here before. It is a Renault Captur and it's a PHEV, so it's a plug-in hybrid. This is not going to be a totally encompassing video about the Captur PHEV, but I'm going to tell you about what I know, and that should cover the basics on a car like this in terms of how you use it and the statistics that are going to be useful for helping you make your decision. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look around the features that are on the inside and the outside of the car, and we're going to go for a drive. I think we'll start off by going for a drive. But before that, let's talk about charging. So at the moment, it's plugged in into a charge point. This car will come with two charging cables. So the first one is here, which is basically what they call a granny. So this end goes in over here, and this end over here goes into a normal 3-pin socket. My understanding, and the camera's down here because it's so stupidly windy, my understanding of these 3-pin socket granny cables is they normally charge at a maximum rate of about 2 kilowatts per hour max, mightn't even do that. Anyway, this car has a 9.8 kilowatt hour battery, so if it's only charging at something like 2 kilowatts every hour, that means it's going to take you the bones off 5 hours to fulfill the full 9.8 kilowatts that it needs when it's totally empty. You can also look at, say, a charge point that you would get in your house, and that is where you would be using this type of lead here. These, you see, cars like these are restricted. There's a max that they can charge at. So this one has a 3.6 kilowatt hour maximum charge rate, which really means, it's really cool when it comes down to these, which really means at, there it is again. I think it has a cool sound. Renault actually makes some cool sounds. Anyway, so that means this car at the moment is 73% charged. So it's kind of cool when you get into it. It tells you an hour and 10 minutes left. It tells you the current amount of charge. It tells you the amount of range that's left in it. But going back to the charging time in a car like this, so as you were saying, probably 2 hours from the granny cable, maybe about 3.6 on the like max. Well, it doesn't always do the max charge all the way through. So call it 3-ish kilowatt hours you're getting, which means it's going to take you the bones of even 3 hours. So what I'd recommend if you're buying a car like this, I don't think I'd spend the money on the charge point. I'd actually just use the 3-pin socket if that's amenable and convenient. But for some people, they have to get a charge point. But that's just to give you an idea. That's how I would recommend using it. So that's the battery size. The engine is a 1.6. And when that's combined with the battery, that's giving you up to 160 horsepower. So there should be good power in this car in terms of how it drives. Anyway, I'm going to go for a drive. So it's still charging. It's telling me that. I know we've also seen that on the screen. There's still a bit to go, but I want to go driving. So I'm going to press the button here, and that allows me to take that out. And just while we're on that topic, this side is for charging, that closes over, and then there's an internal release for this one over here, which takes regular fuel. One thing is, if you're looking at a car like this, and just bear with me, I'm going to develop that point better in a sec. This is the size of the boot. What's nice in the boot, it's kind of flat. I am keeping the wires down there, but if you didn't use the wires the whole time, then you might leave one of the wires out. If you didn't regularly use it, you have more storage down underneath. There is a light in through there, and the seats actually fall down reasonably flat, and you can also take out this tonneau cover, so there is a little bit of flexibility if you've awkward stuff you want to get into the back. But yeah, let me get back to that point, which is the idea. A lot of people ask, what happens if you don't charge a PHEV? Oh my god. Nothing. So what happens is they will still drive like a normal car, like a normal hybrid. So when you do a full charge, it's going to give you a range of 48 kilometers, something like that. So that means the first 48 kilometers ish of your journey is going to be fully electric, and after that then it'll still do some hybrid driving. So what happens is, you'll see in through here when you're driving, the battery will be driving the car, and then once you run out of that kind of range, then you'll see the engine turns the wheels, and it also recharges the battery. But what I'm trying to say to you is, yes, you could own one of these, treat it like a self-charging hybrid, where basically it'll keep recharging. It'll do small little half a kilometer, a quarter of a kilometer little drives every now and then, you know, and it's going to be useful and more efficient than a petrol car. But really on these, if you want to get, like, you see these cars are rated like 180 miles per gallon, you know, grand. But in a plug-in, to get the actual use out of them, it depends how often you do those 40 to 50 kilometer drives. So if you're somebody that does really small mileage, 40 or 50 kilometers a day, plug in your car every night, you're almost never going to use fuel. But if you're somebody that does 300 kilometers a day, fair enough, 50 kilometers of that 300 kilometer journey was full electric, which means 250 kilometers was running as normal hybrid, where it was doing a little bit of electric driving and using the petrol engine as well. So your efficiency is going to be based on the amount of time you get to do the smaller 40 to 50 kilometer drives, if that makes sense. This is a small SUV, actually, like our Kona over there. What is quite nice is it has a black roof up through here, which I think is really, really cool. And these roof rails, I'm going to look around the outside of the car in a little while because it's very, very chic, like most French cars are in terms of size. In the back, headroom's okay at 6 foot. There is some LED lighting up through there. There is some storage in through here. There is 2 USB points over here. There is a 12 volt in through here. Yeah, well equipped actually. There is electrics for windows over here, child locks here. This is dark privacy glass over here. Seats are pretty cool, aren't they? Look at the headrest, the shape of them. Anti-whiplash head restraints. I'll show you that better in a sec. Very, very cool looking actually. And then the material on the seat is a hard-wearing dark half leather. So it has some little dual tones in through there, but this is hard wearing, good condition obviously because this is such a new one, with peripheral leather along the edges. And it's the same up front. You will have height adjuster in through here. That steering wheel is obviously adjustable in, out and up and down. And look at those seats, how cool are they? So anti-whiplash, what I mean is, see the way they come forward? So if you're hit from behind, your head doesn't travel as far backwards. Every Renault, I used to sell Renaults years ago, they are super safe, even when they were unreliable. And I'm going back 25 years ago, well 20 years ago probably, they were always really, really safe. Even the 0304 Meganes, not a great car at the time, lots and lots of problems. They have come on so much in terms of reliability. These cars, I believe, are extremely reliable. But back then, even if they weren't reliable, my God, they were safe. So they were some of the best ones around. So in terms of this dashboard, okay, so what actually, see here, ambient lighting, I'm going to show you that better in a sec. Electrics for windows and mirrors, folding mirrors. These are controls for cruise control. There's also controls for heighted lights, lane departure warning to warn you if you drift out of lane. Over here then, there is, now bear with me because I know nothing about these cars, so I'm feeling my way here along this. So that is a really nice looking trip information for current temperature, tire pressures, range of electric that's left, music information, navigation information, and then over here some eco functions, and also where power is coming from the battery or from the engine, and also what gear we're in down through there. Very, very nice. Right, over here then, that's pretty straightforward. Drive, or there's also drive, or there's regenerative braking. So if you're using the B mode, it's trying to harvest information, trying to harvest energy back up into the battery when you're freewheeling per se. Over here then, more USB connectors, another auxiliary, another 12 volt. Wow, there is so many power outlets in this car. Handbrakes down through here with an automatic park brake. After that then, there is heating controls, really easy to use. So you turn on the fan, gives you some information up there as well. I can then have, that's touch as well. What temperature do I want and where do I want it to blow. Looks kind of nice, feels nice, really easy to use. Air conditioning's there, air recirculation, front and rear windscreen demisters. I'll be honest, the screen up here is kind of intimidating at the start when you're not used to it. And again, I'm feeling my way here, I'm unfamiliar. So I'm assuming that I can go into this, which gives me all menus. So I got navigation, and it's a big screen actually. When you're driving the car, it's quite visible where it is. Kind of cool. It's sort of Tesla looking, but then again, I don't know, is that just a style that everyone, or maybe just that I call Tesla? Phone, settings, car information in through there. That's just energy information and tire pressures and where your energy is flowing from. Yeah, it's wow, lots of, a lot of information. Average fuel consumption of this car over its life so far, 5.6 litres. And again, that's going to depend on what the person was doing, so that's kind of nice. And then after that, we got settings in here, parking assist, multi-sensor, I find, car configuration. Okay, you move down through here, so things like the lights and the locking and the wipers, welcome noises. There's also stuff in here for if you want scheduled charging, so you can ask the car to charge at certain times. Climate settings. Then I can scroll across to even more settings, sound, language, displays. I presume I can go in and change things like the colors and screensavers in the background, and oh my God almighty, so there's lots and lots of stuff to do. One thing that's interesting over here, you have EV and then you have this multi-sense, and that gives different, so in terms of this, you have this pure, you have the sport. Actually, what's kind of nice as well, you see the way the ambient lighting changes in conjunction with whatever mode you're in, which is kind of cool. And the dash clocks also change depending on what mode you're in. So visually, yes, there's differences, but okay. I think this is my understanding of it is correct. The first thing is you got an e-save, right? An e-save is basically where you're in a mode and you want to maintain, how would you say? Say you're going somewhere and you wanted to maintain at least 40% of electric driving. So the car will allow you to save that amount until you get to a destination and then use your electric drive. Okay, but normally for most people, pure is going to allow you to do electric driving. If you floor the car, right? So it'll do mostly electric driving up to 135 kilometers an hour. If you floor the car, the engine will come back in to help it. But once you no longer need that aggressive acceleration, it'll drop off and you go back into a full electric mode. The My Sense function, then, as far as I know, that's going to be more about combining what they call traction battery, I think, driving, which is the electric battery driving the car. They try and combine that with the petrol engine and use it in, it's like in Hyundai, they have this automatic mode where the car deems to use electric when most appropriate and engine when it's most appropriate. And the idea is it tries to do it in the most efficient way possible. And then there's going to be a sport mode, which is a more aggressive drive pattern, I would imagine, in terms of throttle throttle position and how quickly or when the petrol engine comes back in and how easily accessible it is. So it probably feels more powerful when you're using sport. This car's only after coming in and I'm reasonably unfamiliar with it still, so I'm just trying to educate myself here, so bear with me. If you know more than I do, then I apologise if I'm not explaining it very well, but that's my understanding of it. Anyway, let's go for a drive in the car. Actually no, I'm going to show you the outside before it gets dark and then we'll go for a drive. To be fair, I think this is a really pretty car. So I actually think, well, I always like to look at Renaults. I think they always make stylish cars. So the nose of the car, it's got some nice chrome. It's got some nice brushed aluminium. Like it looks like an SUV. It does look like it's higher off the ground. So again, like we're saying to you, looks more like, we'll say, like there's some small SUVs in the market, things like, we'll say, Toyota CHR and then Hyundai Kona. And you know, it's not terribly dissimilar. The CHR probably is a bigger car. I think this is more the same size as, like, say, a Tekka, Hyundai Kona. They're all very, very comparable. But I will concede, this is a bloody good looking car. So the front of the car is quite cool. I like the E-Tech badging along there. There is 2 aluminium roof rails. This one has the black roof as well, which is super stylish. The piece of chrome that goes along this kind of C-pillar down underneath the windows. Very, very nice. How about them taillights? Nice LEDs. I can't do it because I need to be in reverse, but there is really lovely bright LED reverse lights in through there. Sounds like something really kind of not significant, but they actually look very nice. And the privacy glass then really complements the black roof that's already there. And again, more brushed aluminium down along the bottom like we saw in the front, more chrome like we've seen around the rest of the car, more chrome down along through here, but the black at the bottom kind of matches the black on top. And the wheels are a nice diamond cut finish, and they are so they're shiny and reflective, and they're a 17-inch wheel. So it is like everything French, very, very chic, very, very upmarket looking, inside and out. It feels like and looks like a nice high quality car. And my understanding is these cars come with a it's good windy. These cars come with a 5-year warranty. And they make loads of nice little bongs and bings and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll go for a drive. Just in terms of, like I was saying, I'm making selections in through here, and there is big reverse camera in through here then as well. And it also comes with parking sensors up there too. And just before I forget, those, like, I mean, you've seen the taillights, which are very, very cool looking, and these headlights as well. So nice big daytime running lights all the way around, but they're also LED headlights, which are very, very cool and upmarket looking. Again, apologies about the wind noise. Right, let's go for a drive. Like all Renaults, they have this automatic locking function as you walk away from the car without touching anything. But if I leave this in my pocket, again, apologies about the wind noise, I'm going to have to shout around it. It senses that I'm up beside it, and it allows me to get into the car. And then to start it, I press a button. I get this nice welcoming sequence here. I put on my safety belt, and then to drive the car, go in here, drive. So let's go for a spin. This steering wheel is, like we said, in, out, up, down, so you can get nice and comfortable. And the seat then that I'm in is also height adjustable up and down as well. And the whole thing about these cars is, for somebody that wants a car that's not too high off the ground, something that's high off the ground but something that's not too big. So they want the footprint of probably a small car, but they want to feel like they're in a big high car, which these are really good at doing. So like I was saying, yeah, it feels high when you're driving the car. Obviously you have those different modes as well, so do you know what, all these electric cars have different kind of sounds when you're driving them. I really like the sound that this one makes. I think it's lovely. We've already seen how I've been toggling between the different modes, and you know, the capabilities of those modes, and then the visual results that you end up with on the dashboard as well when you change into the different modes. So you know, a lot of interactivity, but the car does drive nice. It accelerates well, even in full EV mode. Without the engine, it actually still feels nice and powerful. Anyway, hopefully by the end of this video you have a better idea what these cars are all about in terms of the inside of the cabin like this, and also how they drive, and also the outside, and overall what's involved in the PHEV. If there's any information you want on this car, 086 843 1945. Brian is my name, Fitzpatrick's Garage. We are a family run business in operation for almost 7 years.